Over the day, we've all heard and talked a lot about impact, about Rotary can do in our communities. But here's the real question: who is going to carry that work forward? And how do we make sure it lasts? Tonight's keynote is exactly about that. Not just leadership, but leadership across generations. Joseph Barisonzi, is that right?
Close enough.
Close. Barisonzi. He spends his time working at the system level, aligning policy, people, and real-world action protects something that we all depend upon, our water. He is the chair of the Minnesota Year of Water and president of the Lower Minnesota River Watershed District. But what makes his work different is this: he's not just building solutions, he's building structures that allow other people to lead. And alongside him is someone exactly doing that. Hannah Barisonzi isn't waiting for the future, she's already leading it. As co-founder of Green Crew, she is mobilizing young people to take real responsibility for conservation, research, and community action. She's an Eagle Scout and is a senior at Blake School. Not participation, leadership. So tonight, you're not just hearing from two speakers, you're seeing a living example of Rotary talks about all the time. Leadership that connects generations and actually moves things forward. So please join me in welcoming Joseph and Hannah.
Mine's the black one.
All right. Tech. Where's the tech? There.
Huh?
How do I move it? Oh, it's the next one. I just move it to the next one.
Need some help there?
Yeah. Good job. All right.
Do you want to try?
That was the metaphor of the entire speech, right?
You want to try?
All right. Good? All right. I want to start with a moment. Not a policy, not a plan, a moment. A drop of water.
Falling as snow.
Resting
Melting.
through soil,
Through root.
through tile lines,
Pulled through culverts.
into
streams.
streams, until
It becomes
river.
And it carries everything. Water doesn't begin in rivers.
It begins where we don't see,
In the quiet.
in the cold.
In the ground beneath us. And we are not separate from it.
We are
Part of the flow.
And what begins unseen doesn't stay that way. The drop carries a story
Of choices made
of landscapes changed,
and reshaped.
and you can see it.
If you know how to look.
More than half of Minnesota's original wetlands,
Are gone.
and when we change how water moves,
We change what it carries.
how fast it travels.
And where it ends up.
Our system's built for one time,
Failing in
and the water
is not slowing down. There were ways
to hold it,
to slow it.
to move with it.
Some of that is gone.
We are currently using fresh water faster than it can be replaced.
And already, 3 out of 4 people live in places where water is insecure.
Not
Someday, now.
now. And here in Minnesota, more than half of our waters are already impaired.
This is not far off.
This is home. We have studied water,
Measured it,
modeled it,
managed it,
tried to control it,
built our lives around it.
and
Still, we are still losing it.
Not slowly.
Faster than we admit. Boundary waters, 49 to 50.
We don't visit water.
We don't stand outside it.
We are made of it.
We don't just depend on it.
We begin as it.
We are more than half.
Closer to 3/4.
We are water. Water is in our blood, in our breath, in every cell that keeps us alive.
It connects farms to cities, upstream to downstream, past.
To future. It binds us, whether we acknowledge it
Whether we manage it,
or ignore it.
it still holds. And if that's true,
If we're part water,
then this is about us.
this is not an environmental issue.
It is not a program.
It's our shared responsibility.
You already know your answer to this, but how many of you have a place with water that matters to you?
Keep them up. Look around.
That's not recreation.
That is relationship.
Are they not working? And if the water will not wait,
You skipped like 2 pages.
12, we just them up, that's
13 does come after 12.
I lost 13. And we know this
We have known
from the first time we studied the river.
the first time we measured its change.
The
river will not wait.
Not for our timelines,
Not for our debates,
not for our permission.
not for us to agree. It will not wait.
And if the water will not wait,
And neither do the people who do the work.
communities like this,
People in rooms like this,
people who see it
and step toward it.
before it's solved,
Before it's clear,
we
we are people who take responsibility.
And we know this. Oh, that's my page 13. Did you know 13 comes before 14?
I did know that, actually.
When something you love is at risk,
You don't stand back from it. You show up for it.
Everything you just felt is real. That is a system we're part of, a system we benefit from, a system we have shaped, and a system that is now pushing back. I want to tell you about a moment, not a report, not in a model, but in the field. Standing along the Minnesota River after a major rain, watching water move faster than it should, carry more than it should, cutting deeper than it should, and realizing that this is not a singular event. This is a pattern, not someday, now. A pattern of water that no longer behaves the way the systems we built expected it to. And in that moment, it became very clear to me that we are not dealing with a project problem. We are dealing with a systems problem. The river will not wait, not for our politics, not for our processes, not for our patience. So if we're serious, we have to act like it. I would like to offer 6 things that we must be willing to admit if we're going to meet this moment honestly. Truth number one. We cannot project our way out of it. We are doing a lot of work, good work, important work, millions of dollars, years of effort, projects across the basins, and still water runs brown after a storm. Fields lose soil we cannot replace. Rivers carry more than they can hold. Lakes fill with nutrients. Aquifers decline. The system is not improving at the scale we need. According to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, the Minnesota River remains one of the most sediment-impaired rivers in the country, carrying more than it can hold and changing everything it touches downstream. This is not from a lack of understanding. We measure it, we track it, we study it continuously, and yet we are still here because we are trying to solve a systems project one
problem at a time.
We are layering solutions on top of a system designed to produce the same outcomes. Wetlands, buffers, infrastructure, all valuable, but not enough on their own. We are not failing because we lack effort. We are failing because the system we are working in cannot produce the outcome that we need.
Truth two.
Every decision matters. There is no single villain in this story, and that's what makes it difficult. That's what makes it honest. Every tile line, every culvert, every permit, every development decision, each one justified, each one reasonable, each one small, but together, they're monumental. Across the basin, 10,000 miles of drainage, moving water faster, bypassing soil, carrying nutrients and sediment directly into the system, turning clear water cloudy and soil into something that no longer stays in place. No one decision breaks a river, but thousands of small, permitted, reasonable decisions absolutely can.
Truth three.
Plans without targets are illusions. We have plans. Hundreds of pages, years of work, carefully written, and yet very few can answer a simple question: what does success actually look like? And when we can't answer that, we are not managing outcomes, we're managing activity. If a plan can't tell you what it will accomplish, it can't tell you whether it's working. And if it does not actually reduce pollution, if it does not actually restore balance, it's not a plan, it's an activity.
Not progress.
Not progress.
Truth four.
Partnership requires accountability. We believe in partnerships. We should. This work requires it. But partnership without accountability is not partnership. It's just an intention. Today, most conservation practices are voluntary. Standards exist, but they're not always applied. And when that happens, the impact disappears because the people doing the work can't even see the results of their own actions. Partnership is essential. But partnership without standards is not shared responsibility. It's just shared intention without shared results.
Truth five.
We govern in fragments. Water moves as one system. We do not. And water will not wait for us to catch up. Through rivers, into lakes, across wetlands, and beneath our feet as groundwater, and yet multiple agencies, overlapping plans. According to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, the Minnesota River watershed spans over 28 counties and hundreds of jurisdictions, with no single entity responsible for the whole system. And nationally, water does the same. It crosses boundaries, But governance stops at the border of a city, of a county, of a state, which means nobody wakes up accountable for the outcome of the water system itself. Water moves as one system, but we govern in fragments.
Truth 6.
Our funding model works against us. We fund this work primarily through local property taxes, a system with no relationship to the forces driving the problem, which means the cost of fixing the system is disconnected from the decisions facing it, which means we are asking households to carry the cost of fixing a system that they did not create alone, while the incentives that drive the system remain unchanged. We are taxing the response and not the cause. Now let me be very clear. This is not
a story of failure.
This room is filled with people who have done more than most to protect water. You have funded projects, led efforts, built partnerships. Because of what you've done, we understand the problem more clearly than ever before, and because we can see it clearly, we now know we're not done. The question now is whether we are willing to organize ourselves to act at the scale of the problem. That is why, with my co-conspirator, we've created the Year of Water. A Year of Water is not a program, it's a platform of coordinated action, a way for communities like yours to take what we know and turn it into what we do. 3 ideas. Every community touches water, every community can act on water, and every action contributes to something larger. Rotary is not being asked to participate. Rotary is being asked to lead, because this is what you do. You see a problem, you organize, and you act. But there is one more truth. Even if we fix the system, even if we align the funding, even if we govern differently, none of it works if we do not change who carries it forward. So the question is not just what will, it is who are we preparing to carry it?
I am part of the generation that will live with what you decide. Not in theory, not someday, in real time. In the water we drink, in the rivers we walk beside, in the systems we inherit. And I want to say something clearly, not as a challenge, but as a truth. My generation is paying attention to what the data is showing, to what the rivers are carrying, the weight on their shoulders. More than half of Minnesota waters are already impaired. That's not abstract. It shows up in the water we drink, the places we swim, the systems we depend on, changing in real time. We also see what you've built, the work, the effort, the commitment. We're not starting from nothing. We are standing on what you have already done. But here's what I've learned, not just as a student of this work, but as somebody doing it. There are 5 things that have to be true if this is going to work. Principle 1, this is personal. This has to be personal. We protect what we understand, but we fight for what we love. For me, it's the Minnesota River Valley, a canoe, a place that shaped who I am. For you, a lake in the boundary waters, a shoreline you return to, a stretch of water you know by feel. Or something you never see, but something you trust every time you turn on the tap. Everyone in this room has a water place that matters. This is not about water as a resource. It's about water as a home. Principle 2, action must be real. Hope is real, not the way we talk about it. Hope is not something you feel, it's something you choose. More than that, it's something you build. You build it when you show up. You test the water, you take a sample and decide it matters. When someone changes a practice, when someone asks a harder question. When a group of people decides, this is not good enough. That's what hope looks like. Not a feeling, not a pattern, not optimism, action repeated over time. And when enough people do that, hope stops being fragile. Hope is hands in the dirt. Principle 3, small actions scale. This work is bigger than it looks. Not because it's complicated, because it connects. Every sample, every change, every decision moves something else. A field changes, a river feels it. A storm comes, and everything downstream remembers. A choice made here doesn't stay here, and a choice made there doesn't stay there. That's how this works, not in isolation, in relationship. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. You start to understand this is not one project. It's about everything it touches. Principle 4, youth must be in the system. This is not about preparing us to lead. It's about letting us lead now. Not later, not when we're older, now. Because this work, it's already ours. We're the ones testing the water, showing up early, staying late. We're the ones asking questions, the questions that don't yet have answers. Questions we step into anyways. Not because somebody told us to, because it matters. And it's not just here. It's happening everywhere. Young people paying attention, taking responsibility, doing the work, not waiting to be invited. So don't call us the future. We're already here. Don't write us into the epilogue. Hand us the pen. Principle 5, hope is a decision. This only works if more people step into it. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently. Because this is not someone else's responsibility. This is not waiting for the right plan, for the right moment. It moves when people decide to move. And that decision happens in rooms like this, with people like you. So the question isn't whether this matters, or whether it's possible. The question is, what will you do next? It doesn't start the way you think. No one hands you a plan. You just show up early, before it's warm, before it's easy. You learn how to test the water, not from a book, from someone standing next to you. You mess it up the first time, and then you do it again. You start to notice things. How the river smells different after a storm, how the numbers change, what that means. You ask a question and realize no one has a clear answer, so you stay with it longer than you thought you would. And somewhere in all of that, it stops being something you're helping with and starts being something you're responsible for. Not because somebody told you, but because you're starting to see it. At some point, you realize this isn't just something you're doing, it's changing how you see, what you notice, what you question, what you're willing to accept, and what you're not. And once that shifts, there's no going back. You don't step out of it, you step further in. And that's where this starts to matter in a different way. So let me say this clearly, because none of it is abstract. This is real, and it's happening now. And if you're paying attention, you can see exactly what it requires. Not complicated, but it is demanding. And there's few things you need to understand. We're already in it. Water is moving, with or without us. The only question is, will you move with it? So if you're still sitting here, if you're still listening, then you already know. This is yours. So let me ask you something. Are you in? And I don't mean someday. I don't mean I care. I mean, will you show up? If you will, prove it. Then we begin. We heard you.
That matters.
That matters.
Because most people don't.
Most people wait.
For more time.
More certainty for someone else. But not here.
Not now.
Not you. So this
moment
is real.
And
what happens next
isn't hypothetical.
It's already in motion. This isn't about helping.
It's not about volunteering.
It's not about showing up once.
Or agreeing with an idea.
This is about becoming someone who stays. Someone the water can count on.
Someone who doesn't wait.
For permission.
For perfect conditions.
For someone else to go first.
Someone who moves.
Because this
is a page turn.
It is a page turn. Because
this work
doesn't belong to organizations. It doesn't belong to experts.
Or agents.
Or systems. It belongs to people.
People who decide
that they're a part of it. And what you
just did. It's like showing up when no one's asking you to.
It looks like testing water again and again.
And again.
And again.
It looks like restoring places that people stop seeing.
Pulling invasives.
Planting natives.
Measuring change.
It looks like data.
And dirt.
At
the same time.
It looks like meetings.
That aren't easy. That aren't simple.
And staying anyways. It looks like learning what's actually happening.
And not looking away.
It looks like speaking.
And it would be easier not to.
And
doing it anyways. Juggling. New pro skill. It's not dramatic.
It's not one moment. It's
consistency. Over time.
In real places.
With real
consequences.
So here's what happens next.
Not later.
Not we'll follow up. Now.
People here.
Ready to start with you. If you're ready to lead, Green Crew.
If you're ready to do the year of water.
If you don't know where you fit,
we'll help you find it.
But don't leave here unchanged. Rivers are always changing. You like the river.
Take the next step. Because this
moment
doesn't repeat.
The river doesn't pause.
It doesn't wait.
Doesn't ask if we're ready.
It keeps moving.
With or without us.
And what happens next
isn't decided later. It's decided now by what we do
When we leave here tonight. This doesn't end tonight.
It ends with us
In what we do
and what we choose.
from this point forward.
We're ready for the river.
We
Are
are
the river.
the river. We
We are water.
Thank you.